What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today's World's Format deck profile is going to be on Spell Tag Malamar. I think this deck is well positioned for reasons that I actually listed in the Pico-Rom deck profile, why that is well positioned. This deck keeps some damage modification, or pseudo damage modification through Spell Tag. You get extra damage, essentially. And you also have good Pokemon search for the deck. And it didn't lose like any of its engine, really. So I think this deck is really solid, and it's been working beautifully in testing. So we're going to start, of course, with 4 Inkay. I'm also going to just set this Ditto aside here, since it's essentially a 5th Inkay. And 4 of the Malamar with Psychic Recharge. Of course, most of you will know Psychic Recharge. Once a turn, you can take a Psychic Energy out of your discard pile and attach it to one of your benched Pokemon. So Malamar is the backbone of the deck here, and it'll be powering up our other attackers that we are using. The only 2 of attacker in the deck at the moment is Giratina from Lost Thunder. With the Distortion Door ability that it can put itself from the discard pile to the bench, and then ping 2 opposing benched Pokemon for 1 damage counter each. And its attack is Shadow Impact 130. It does 40 damage to one of your own Pokemon, but usually you don't mind too much, especially with Guzma out of the format and Wheezing much weaker without double colorless energy and counter energy. The 40 damage on one of your own Pokemon has not been a big deal at all so far in testing. We did lose Marshadow, Let Loose, and Tapu Lele, so we were just running 1 Dedenne here. Initially, I had no GX Pokemon. I had no GX support Pokemon, such as Dedenne, in the deck because I was worried about it sitting on the bench and ruining our prize trade. But a lot of decks aren't running Guzma, so we'll have to see how many and which archetypes are running Custom Catcher. But you don't want to use Dedenne if you don't have to. It's nice to have around, though. We're running 1 Mew from Unbroken Bonds, which is a tech for Pico-Rom. It stops bench damage. That's really all it's there for, and it's nice that it's searchable by Mysterious Treasure. We are running 1 Mimikyu with Copycat that can use an attack that your opponent used last turn as long as it wasn't a GX attack. Just another nice single prize attacker that can potentially do a lot of damage. And this is staying in rotation as far as I understand due to a promo that was printed that was not an alternate art promo. Our only non-psychic attacker is going to be Larvitar with Second Strike, 10 damage plus 70 more if the defending Pokemon already has 3 damage counters or more on it. This is good against fighting weak things like Evilax and Pico-Rom, after you already soften them up with Distortion Doors and Spell Tags. Next, we have 1 Lunala Prism, which absolutely bodies a lot of attackers right now. It's really good versus Reshizard and Pico-Rom because they like to have a lot of energy. Might be good in some mirror matches if they are putting a lot of energy on the board. I know Zoro Ninja Tag Team will have a lot of energy on the board, but it's also resistant to this. Nonetheless, there are a lot of energy acceleration decks in the format right now, and that are very good in the format. And Lunala Prism does 20 for each energy on both boards combined. So Lunala Prism has been an MVP of a few games in testing so far. And our last Pokemon is Dawnwing's Necrozma GX. For its Moon's Eclipse GX, which is 180, you can only use this attack if you have more prizes than your opponent. And during next turn, prevent all effects, including damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's attacks. So with Guzma gone and Escape Rope gone, Moon's Eclipse GX got really good. Or better, I should say. It was already a good attack. Onto the trainers, we have our customary 4 Lily and 4 Cynthia. These are going to be our only supporters of the deck. I wanted to keep it nice and consistent and simple. I considered Erica's Hospitality if I didn't like how the deck was running already, but I have loved how the deck's running. Also, we have a ton of 4-ups coming up for this deck. So Lily and Cynthia have been great. You're able to empty your hand pretty well in the early turns for Lily, just like you were able to pre-rotation, except we lost Ultra Ball and Nest Ball, so a few things about the list have changed. We've got Pokegear for Pokegear. Look at the top 7 and choose a supporter from there, put it to your hand. So we have essentially 8 hard outs and 4 soft outs to a supporter for turn 1. Then we have 4 Mysterious Treasure, which is one of the reasons why Malamar stays strong and doesn't lose as much as some other decks will. It has a great search, Pokemon search engine with the 4 Mysterious Treasure. Discard a card and search for a Dragon or Psychic type Pokemon. And then we're also playing 4 Pokemon Communication. Since we are playing 16 Pokemon in this deck, and we're playing 4 Mysterious Treasure, which can search out a Pokemon pretty easily. These are great backup searches. So Mysterious Treasure can get any Pokemon in your deck aside from Larvitar, Dedenne, and Ditto. So most of the Pokemon you need you can get with Mysterious Treasure, but you'll need more than 4 Pokemon searches most games, so PokeCom helps you out with that. We're going to go over here with the next set of 4-ofs. We have 4 Acrobikes, which were pretty common already in Malamar decks. And with the loss of Nest Balls and Marshadow and Lele, I definitely don't think this is something you cut. You need to thin out your deck as much as possible. That's a big part of Malamar. And hit the cards you need. And then we have 4 Switch. So we're not playing any Escape Board. I do think 4 Switch is the way to go here, for now at least. It's been working great for me. I would prefer Escape Ropes, but like I said, they are rotating out. And we also don't have Guzma, so I think 4 is necessary. And I've just never been a fan of Escape Boards anyway in Malamar, because your Malamars have 2 retreat cost. Your Tinas have more than 1 retreat cost. You can put it on Mimikyu, Mew, or Dedenne, but those are pretty fragile, and you also don't always want Dedenne or Mew or Mimikyu on the bench. A lot of times your bench will just be multiple Malamars and then a backup Tina and then the Tina that's active. So I like Switch more than I like Escape Board for now at least. Then we have 4 Spell Tag. If the Psychic Pokemon this card is attached to was knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, put 4 damage counters to offer your like on your opponent's Pokemon. So this is what I was saying about extra damage in the deck. Other decks lost Choice Band. This deck also lost the option to run Choice Band, but Spell Tag is very good. It means your Tina's doing 130, 260 over 2 turns, and then with Spell Tag you can do a maximum of 340 to 1 target as long as your opponent hit into an active Spell Tag. And then that's it for the 4-ofs, and lastly we have 2 Viridian Forests to help us find one of our 9 Psychic Energy. I have seen lists for post-rotation going around with 8 Psychic Energy. I do not think that is incorrect, but I definitely think this is a lot safer. Like I said, we have less deck thinning, and we have less draw options, like the Let Loose and Lele that we lost, or Lele to find a draw option. So I definitely think it's important to guarantee as best as we can that we're going to be able to attack and not whiff on something so small and fixable like whiffing an energy. So this is my current Spell Tag Malamar list. I would love to hear any suggestions or questions, any matchups that you would like to see in the coming weeks as I delve into Worlds format in the IRL testing battles. Be sure to check out flipsidegaming.com and use code Celio all caps for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.